All right, we are back for our second feature match here, week 4 of Final Fantasy League. We got Joseph S here, who's we won't say a new person to our server. He's been around for a little bit here. Up against Johnny, who's been here since the beginning. I believe he's played in every league since we've been on this, since we've been a server or close to. Um, anyway, what's going on in Johnny's hand over there?
Johnny is currently playing a black-white deck. He's got a Mardu devotee that's about to hit the board,
Oh,
sees a swamp, mage's staff on top, puts the white mages on the bottom. He's got a Heck Dice, Weapon Vendor, two removal spells in White Auracite in early winter, and then a second Weapons Vendor.
yeah.
So he's got the
Of
card draw.
of note, did not have a land there.
Yeah, he's getting his third off the top though.
We are ramping here. Looks like we got a green black base here, but there are lands that make red and blue in play for Joseph, so we'll see what that leads to. He had a pretty nice 2 drop there with the Sinkhole Surveyor. Usually you want to attack with that, but it's blocking enough damage that he decided not to.
And
Um,
Dragoon's Lance, normally a very good card. Not so good when you've got a flying 1/3
yeah.
standing against you.
So in hand for Joseph here, we have 2 Final Fantasy cards, 3 now. We have Resentful Revelation. There's a Malboro that he just drew. He's got Circle of Power, which is the draw 2 card, and he's got a Hazard of the Dunes, which I imagine he's going to be casting here, which is that big 4/4 trample reach with exhaust. Uh, if you played Ether Drift, you met this guy on the battlefield probably plenty.
Johnny did top deck the fourth land that he
Okay.
needed, so he's hovering the white aura site right now. Probably gonna hit the sinkhole surveyor if I had to guess. He may also just go for weapons vendor, try to draw into
Yeah.
more action.
Maybe he's going to just try and race here. No, he did. Okay, he took the Sinkhole Surveyor. He just identified it as a bigger problem in the long run. And Joseph just gets to start doing some pretty good stuff here. Either play Malboro or make a. I believe you get a 5/5 from that the room that he played.
Yes, it's Manifest Dread and turn it into a 5/5.
Okay, interesting. He's going to go for the draw spell here. He drew a bard's bow, and he drew a very powerful rare from I think it was Tarkir, the Warden of the Grove. The Hydra that just
That
puts counters on stuff, and then all your creatures come with counters or spirits.
Johnny has an answer in hand, but he's looking at spending it on the Hazard of the Dunes just to try to get in some more
Yeah,
damage.
early winter when you got to pay 5 mana to destroy something. That's where we are. Yeah, I'm wondering if Mardu Devotee like is a 1 mana 1/2 that scries 2 good enough? Because I know in Tarkir it was just such an enabler for particularly like the Mardu decks that wanted to be aggressive but didn't want to play as many tap lands, and it was just like an absolute all star. I think remove it from Tarkir, not a bad card, but not as strong, I would say.
Yeah, you really need to be playing red for some reason to want it in your deck.
Yeah, and we've
Uh,
got the Warden
Johnny
here.
Johnny did top deck summon Primal Odin, so he does have a very easy answer to this Warden of the
Yeah,
Groves.
well, this Warden is going away, but we do have more stuff going on in hand here for Joseph. He's got a Malboro. He's got I think it's Saz, Catsroy, the rare. And he's got a Colosseum Behemoth, which can destroy a White Auracite or a Primal Odin or, whatever he chooses once he gets 7 mana.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's gonna hit the White Aura site and get his Sinkhole Surveyor back.
All right, well, we found one of the cards he's splashing for, and it could be pretty powerful here, which is the Fire Magic. He could wipe off the board here and then just have big things to do in future turns. Like he has his Malboro, his Catsroy, he has his room, so he could just pay 6, wipe everything out. I believe it's 6, um,
Yes,
and then
that is
just
an instant
have big
speed
things to
answer.
do. I imagine that's what he's doing, considering he didn't make a play. And
All right, we got two lands off the top, so all that's left in hand is the planes and a weapons vendor.
another weapons vendor. All right. So I think the fire magic here is going to put Joseph decently ahead in a game that was pretty even so far, but I think he's going to get an advantage here. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is devastating, especially from an uncommon. He even gets deals opponent one ping damage on the way out, and he just gets to
yeah,
deploy scary things here.
yeah. I mean, with Saws and just the ability to get rid of the White Orsight in hand, it's going to be very difficult for Johnny to pull back from this.
He's going to start with Malboro here, which this card is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Like when I saw this card, I'm just like, it's just one of those like the land cyclers. They're clunky, whatever. And turns out pretty good. You get your mana's worth when you tap 6 for this guy. I find.
Yep. Off the top, Johnny saw a Sephiroth's intervention. He's
Okay.
likely holding up for whatever bomb Joseph resolves next.
Yeah, I mean he has his choice here whether he wants to play Catsroy or the 5/5, or he could just play the Darkness Crystal, which he drew. Yeah, I'm still this card. It still kind of confounds me a little bit. Like I'm not sure how strong it is. Like when I read the text, I refuse to believe it's a bad card. It can't be bad when you read the text, but it's just like really slow, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a slow card. Um, all right, off the top, I mean, this will help. Off the top, we got a Dion, Bahamut's dominant,
Okay, well, there's a Sephiroth intervention in hand here to dispose of that thing,
and then Joseph will have his own Dion.
and another fancy draw here for Joseph. He's a few lands away, but it's a summon Bahamut.
Yeah, he's a bit off of that right now.
Interesting that he's not going. Oh, he gets to. Of course. I always forget about the extra text on the crystal that your black spells cost one less, so he can still Sephiroth's intervention here.
And there goes the Dion, and that will
I would
put.
have been almost tempted to like try and let my opponent spend mana to maybe transform it.
Yeah, if you don't expect that your opponent has much else going on, waiting until he tries to flip it could be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean he could also just attack. Maybe his opponent was going to try and double block it in some world, but either way,
Swamp off
things
the top.
looking up for Joseph here. What does Johnny have? What do you draw for turn there?
Johnny pulled a swamp off the top, so it's not gonna be in. He's not in a great spot right
I
now.
mean, he is a known enjoyer of swamps, but I think in this case he'd rather get something else. And another like Joseph has a lot of big swingy cards in his deck here. He's true death begets life for turn. If you remember that one from Tarkir.
That's the just board wipe that draws you cards
Yeah.
into a permanent, right?
Yeah, I mean Joseph's at 8-9, and the packs get pretty big once you're at that point. So you're just gonna see a lot of cards. Yeah, Johnny, looking at his record, he's 12-7, so doing pretty good, pretty okay. Uh, potentially in contention to make a run for it in weeks 5 and 6.
And this is the concede. Regalia off the top is not
Yeah,
quite
and
what Johnny.
he had a lot more in hand there. Um, so I will take this opportunity to pick a bone with my friend Johnny over there. Um, so a lot of people in the league know, especially those who've been around, when one of us gets to 10 losses, we always save the first opportunity to eliminate us to give to the other person. So, for example, I lost 2 matches today, got to 10 losses, messaged Johnny, and then he tells me, oh, I'm done for the week. You're supposed to save the match, you're supposed to check, but it's okay. I guess he assumed, Richard's a good player. He's not going to dump 2 matches right at the beginning of the week like a chump. So
Oh,
now I have to go in the bot and be done in by whoever randomly is in the bot at the time that I decide to play a match.
Well, look at it this way, Richard. You've got an opportunity to prove yourself and keep yourself going on 10 losses.
Can't a person just be eliminated from the league with dignity?
Not this week,
No,
it seems.
no, no. I mean, he signed up for the feature match, so we like when people sign up for feature matches, especially since this is the last chance to get into that little team sealed event,
Hmm.
the side event. So looks like Joseph's making some minor changes here. He took out a darkness crystal. I think he added potentially. Did he add a second fire magic? I think. I mean, pretty good call to against what he saw there. Just a lot of
Yeah,
small
I think
creatures.
I think Joseph correctly picked up on the fact that Johnny is a black-white mid-range deck, and Fire Magic is very good against it.
I would say it's leaning. I mean, it's hard to say any deck is really that aggressive in league, but it's leaning more towards being aggressive than it is to being late game. But everything's just shades of mid range. Here's an interesting card here,
Yeah,
the Moogle Merchant. Have you played a bunch? Have you played much with that?
I have.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun sending the creature your opponent is trying to remove back to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things you could do with it, right? Like sagas that are about to go away, like in the late game treasure tokens or something that it's not going to help anybody. Yeah, cool. What else has Johnny got in hand?
Carsey
Oh, that's a
Revenant,
good
which
one.
starts at the field. He does have two Adventurer's Airship. That's the 3 mana vehicle, 3/2
Huh, okay.
that draws and discards. Slash of Light and a Fear of Surveillance.
Okay, so he's going to be leaning heavy on this Carsey Revenant here to progress him in the game. Again, Joseph's hand. He's got two Vane's Treacheries. Uh, he's got a Malboro and a Sinkhole Surveyor and a couple lands. So he's thinking if he just wants to do this Carsey Revenant in right away, but looks like he won't.
This will likely be a Fear of Surveillance and potentially Slash of Light on the Sinkhole Surveyor. It
Yeah,
just depends on if
that's
Johnny
probably a good move.
feels it's a problem yet.
Yeah, I mean, he did identify it as something he wanted to get rid of last game, so I imagine
Yep.
he's going to come to the same conclusion here. Yeah. So yeah, this Carsey Revenant is threatening to really take over this at least initial part of the game.
I mean, with two Vane's Treachery in hand, surely Joseph has a very easy answer to Carsey Revenant for a while.
All right, so he's looking at the top three here. He gets to take a card into his hand. He's looking at there's a Fire Magic and a Mountain, and there's a Feral Death Gorger, which is it's the Omen. It's the 6-drop black Omen Dragon.
Right. I mean, Fire Magic does answer this board.
Yeah, he does. He just can wait till next turn. Johnny plays maybe one more thing, and then he blows it all up and comes back in the game. I mean, we saw that basically happen last game. The board was a bit more fleshed out then, but the Fire Magic was a hugely impactful turnaround moment.
Yep. Johnny's still sitting on these two Adventurer's Airships. He did draw a Slash of Light for turn, which, if he does choose to play it on the Torgal, will make that Fire Magic keep awkward, unless Joseph does have a Mountain in hand.
Yeah, I mean, Adventurer's Airship, not a card I thought I'd be seeing in week 4 in decks, but if you need some card selection, it's a 3 power flyer. Like the card just can't be that bad. Like I just read it, it's like the card can't be terrible, but often you just find better stuff to do. But if you need some card selection, in a deck that's trying to be low to the ground, you just want to get rid of lands in the late game and things like that. There's a good chance you can get in with it on a lot of boards. So I guess he's
Yep.
just going to play that and
He
pass.
he is going to Slash of Light Torgal.
Okay, well now he can feel pretty okay about doing the play that we're about to see here. So Fire Magic is now off the table without a red source
Yep.
here.
But here comes the situation we talked about previously, where you send
Yep,
it back to
here you
your
can have it.
opponent.
It's yours. Enjoy.
for the small amount of time you get to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, cool. Like that is a cool effect. I can't really remember seeing a card that did that. I mean, I know there's like some weird cards where you just give your opponent something, and then maybe later on you get an advantage. Like there's some weird
Yeah,
cards like that, but just to like this, I think it's the first time we've ever seen something quite worded this way.
I mean, it'll make it fun to hand over all of the you lose the game effects.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, isn't there is there there's like a commander in Jeskai that does that. I forget the name, but it's you can just give you can give opponents your stuff, and then at the beginning of your turn, I think you draw cards and gain life equal to the how many,
Mhm.
whatever stuff your opponent has that belongs to you.
So this Marlboro will likely hit an adventurer's airship. Um,
Yeah, the second one drops off there.
yeah,
Second one
not
definitely
not as
drops
good
off.
as the first one. So in this position, do you send a land over to your opponent?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if Johnny's looking at his opponent's pool, but there's Death Begets Life in there. There's Bahamut. I don't think you're giving your opponent land. I mean, if he's looking at the
Yeah,
pool, I don't. He did not see
yeah.
those cards in the first game. We saw them in Joseph's hand, but if you were equipped with that knowledge, you would basically never give your opponent a land.
Don't get them any closer if you can afford it. So in the hand right now, he's deciding between discarding a Slash of Light, Crystal's Chosen, and a land. Crystal's Chosen is a very good way to close out the game.
I mean, he's one land away from it now, so and unless Joseph finds the red source for fire magic, the Crystal's Chosen will put this game completely out of reach.
Yes. Joseph won't be able to develop enough blockers. Is likely going to use the Carsey Revenant on the Fear of Surveillance just
Yeah,
to
makes sense.
give himself guaranteed
And
lethal.
there's a mountain right on cue, but does he know what's coming on the with the Crystal's Chosen?
I mean, if it's the only answer that you have to Adventurer's Airship, you likely just hold it
Well,
up.
he has a Vane's Treachery still.
Fair. This Dion is going to make it very tempting to just wipe the board in
Well, it's
response.
not going to make it tempting. It's going to happen. But Johnny will at least get to draw a card from his merchant.
Okay. It seems it seems like Johnny is at least attempting to play around fire magic. Not that uh, what is this, a 4 for 1?
Yeah.
Feels very great.
So yeah, small thing here. Usually, you would let your opponent resolve their surveil trigger and then cast your fire magic, because the decision of keeping a card and putting a card in the graveyard might change greatly based on whether or not you know that your entire board's going into your graveyard. So, I mean, he kept either way, so I assume it was something
It
decent.
was a land. It
Okay,
gives him
well,
the ability to cast Crystal's
that
Chosen.
was
So,
that was not going to change anything. So he was keeping a land regardless of whether he had a board or not.
yep.
And
He doesn't have the mana to resolve Vane's Treachery here, so he's going to be going down to 3.
with just a Vane's Treachery here, he's not going to be able to survive unless he has draws. We know he has Death Begets Life. So
Oh yeah, wipe the board and
does that destroy
draw
does that destroy
7.
artifacts too?
It does. I believe it's all non-land permanents.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, he has that. If he boarded in his other fire magic, which I think he did, I didn't. He either boarded in that or a second thunder magic. But it's just a cat's Roy here, so
Yeah, so
he
that
has he has one more draw here with his seed garden, and it's a summon fat chocobo. So looks like we're going to be going to a game 3 here.
Yeah, that won't be enough.
And a couple of very fun, interesting games we got here.
Very back and forth considering the
Um, I
circumstances.
mean, if Johnny has another creature, then Joseph won't survive. But as it stands, with the Vane's treachery, this is he is going to actually go be able to survive here.
In hand, Johnny has a "You're Not Alone." I think this will
Okay,
probably
well
sit out.
that'll that'll do it.
Which it looks like he's just gonna fire off here. Not that it really matters which one he fired it on.
Well, it'll be this one, the one that's going to get through for sure. Because otherwise, Joseph could block two, take two damage, go to one, then untap and have more draws, and
Well, in that
be
case, he's
looking
just
not that bad.
casting "You're Not Alone"
But yeah,
on the unblocked creature.
well, the blocks hadn't been declared yet, but yeah, he could have
Right.
done it after. Um, yeah, so looking, yeah, he does have two fire magic. I believe he brought in second one. Yeah, so he's base green black. He has the two fire magics, thunder magic, death begets life. He has a Kuja on the splash and a Eshki Dragon Claw, which is kind of a double splash in his base black green deck.
Johnny is looking at a very, yeah, just a very aggressively focused white black mid range deck. Couple of removal spells, the two regalias, Dion and Summon Primal Odin as top end.
Yeah, definitely his curve looked extremely low. I mean, he had
Although,
a few things above three, but uh, you know, like here we see the balance of power in Joseph deck is mostly towards the right side of the screen here on the in the sideboarding. Like his big cards over there for Johnny, I think it's more you know in the fours and under category.
yes, it is indeed.
And
We did
there's
mention the Mardu devotee loses a lot of its power if you're not splashing red or in red at all. Johnny is not splashing a single red card. It is
okay.
just pure white black.
So it's just a 1/2 that's scries two, and that once in a while, if you're screwed for black mana, you can well, it can give you black mana if you're missing one.
Yep.
I mean, it depends on how focused or aggressive your deck wants to be, but yeah, I could see that being something that makes the cut. Yeah,
Johnny is looking at restoration magic to try to deal with his opponent casting fire magic.
yeah,
That's
that
the
one that'll do it. Yeah,
yeah, that is the AoE indestructible hexproof and life gain, if that is relevant.
yeah. The third the most expensive one protects everything, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's definitely something. Fire magic did him in game one, and did a good job of giving Joseph a shot here in game two, if not for the crystals chosen that was waiting in hand.
And it looks like Johnny is just figuring out if he wants to put in anything that is more aggressive. He's considering Marlboro, but he is just passing it over and
Yeah,
looking
it
at
seems a little clunky for his deck. Um,
just doing a quick tour of all the other colors of cards that he
yeah, I
has.
will say really astute play from Johnny when he could have attacked with the airship and the flyer, the 2/2 flyer that got the counters from the Revenant. Uh,
Mhm.
just attacked with the 2/2 and left his airship in play through the fire magic. So, and that airship ended up being the one that dealt the damage at the end. So,
Yeah, it got him there.
playing around the fire magic there actually made more difference than it seemed at the time, because that airship, like I said, was a card that dealt the balance of the remaining damage mostly.
I may be wrong, but I believe Johnny locked in a 59 card deck.
Oh,
I think he might have forgotten to put a another card back in after taking out one of his slash of lights.
yeah. I mean, normally somebody would want to maybe message him, and then maybe as long as his opponent's okay with it, they restart game three. But uh, if nobody says anything, probably just gonna play like this. But if somebody is able to send him a message, maybe that would be best, just to make sure everything is on the up and up here. For the time being, looking at Joseph's hand, he's got the Brood Spinner, which is a great two drop. He's got X Death, Circle of Power, and Vane's Treachery, so he's got stuff to do. He does not have any more lands for the time being. What's Johnny got over there?
The Carsey Revenant will come
Okay,
back in. He's also got an Adventurer's Airship, a Summon Primal Odin, and he's holding on to the Crystals Chosen that helped him win the last game.
that's a good one. Yeah, Crystal's
Yeah.
Chosen, like, I look at it, when I first saw it, I was like, 7 mana is so much, and it's like, it's if your deck's like sort of mid range and wanting to get to big mana, like making two-twos isn't going to be that good. But the whole thing is white has white Auracite at common. So if you got like two white Auracites in your deck, you don't feel bad about throwing that Crystal Chosen in your, perhaps a more aggressive leaning deck.
Yeah, Crystal's Chosen is played very well whenever I um well, looks like Adrian has
Okay.
gotten to Johnny.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not in the league committee, but I would recommend Johnny reaching out to his opponent, and normally would just ask if they can restart the game, or if the opponent says they don't mind, they just continue. If it's resolved to the player's satisfaction, then we usually let it be. I mean, it is a violation. It is, albeit a small one, but still is one. So I'm not sure if there's being communication taking place between the players. If it is, it's not on the arena
No,
chat
I'd
chats.
imagine it's a Discord DMs that is going on to try to resolve this.
Yeah, like I said, the fixes are, there's a couple options. Um, when things like this have happened, often the opponent just says, "Okay, we can carry on," or like I said, they restart this particular game with both players presenting minimum 60 cards. Yeah, is there anything on the Discord itself right now, or is it you assume it's just private messaging for the time being?
I do not see anything on the Discord, so I assume it's private messaging that's going on behind the scenes.
Okay, yeah, because there hasn't been any communication on Arena, so I think what we'll do is we'll pause the video for a moment. They'll be broken up in two parts here once it's resolved, because otherwise we'll just be sitting here looking at this board. So we'll be back with
It is
the
very
with the conclusion of this match, hopefully pretty shortly.